Hey everybody, just saying hi from North Philadelphia. I don't know how long my battery's gonna last. It's acting a little glitchy, so I just want to say something today. It's sort of, I had this feeling that I should come up. This is to the John Coltrane house. It's about a 15-20 minute walk from my house here on 33rd Street, and I haven't been up in a while, and you know, I just needed to get off my couch and stop thinking about things and just get out and stretch my legs. And it's near the park here. I'm going to turn around and show you what it looks like. So this is the John Coltrane house. This is the neighborhood that it's in. You'll probably have a hard time to see, but it's, you know, it's not very tended. It's in the process of being gentrified. There's this, you know, cart out here, and there's an empty lot. You know, there's a lot of weeds and everything. So it's, you know, it's in the process. The house itself is between these two like automotive areas. It's kind of a little derelict over here, and the you know, it's across from the park, East Park, and that's part of the park that was saved to protect the drinking water for Philadelphia. So it's just tucked away here. And you know, I know some people are probably a little off-put when I keep saying we're paying attention to the wrong things in Philadelphia. It's not the founding fathers, and so that's why I felt it was really important to come out tonight. I should have done it earlier today, but you know, who knows why things happen. But this is the house itself. It's hard to see. It's a 3-story house. It was in their family. John Coltrane lived here from 1952 to 1958, and then he moved to New York. And you can see there's a historic plaque out there. But you know, his family kept the house for about 50 years. It was his cousin Mary, and what I understand, he wrote a song about her, and she lived in this house. And then when she died, it you know, it was eventually bought, and they're trying to preserve it. And I actually am really happy because it looks like some new windows have been put in, but it's, you know, these are the things we're not paying attention to the right things. We need to be paying attention to the musicians and the revolutionary thinkers and the people who have love in their hearts, you know, and people who are giving to the people, giving to culture, giving to the good vibrations of the world, right? And look, that I'll just kind of had some little bump-ins with people. Can you see it says "A Love Supreme" right there? And some pictures of him tucked in this window. It looks like they have a new door, so that's a good thing. So they have this, you know, waiting, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I mean, clearly this house has seen its better days. And you know, look at the step, right? You know, we're not investing in the right things. Why would it be that for you know, 20 years this house still isn't fixed up and made available for people and music and culture and revolution, and it's because that's the way they want it to be, right? They don't want us to be able to tap into that power, right? And to make it, like, create a new reality that's off the books. So anyway, I just felt like I needed to come up here today. And actually someone had sent me a message about like they had seen someone sort of talking about this thing, I think egregore, I can't remember, sort of a dark thought, this sort of dark thought form that's come over the earth, and that the idea that it might be feeding into AI and this binary thinking that's very polarized, and you know, the idea that maybe with intention we can try to sort of dissipate some of that. So I went out in the park, and I found a big tree, and I took my shoes and socks off, and it's kind of muddy because it snowed last week, but you know, I got in touch with the earth, which is good because I haven't done that in a while. Too much time on the sofa making slideshows of, you know, terrible things, and it felt good, and I would have laid down on the ground, but it was too wet. So there's a picnic table, so I just laid on the picnic table, and I looked up at the moon. It wasn't quite full, but it was a nice big moon through the branches of this really majestic tree, and I tried to just sort of imagine this cloud, and the person said, like, don't be mad at the cloud. The cloud is all that hurt. The cloud is all of that long hurt, and it's not the cloud's fault. But from a neutral place, you can ask it to go away. And so I was sort of thinking about when I was out in South Dakota, I'd lay on the ground out there in the garden and look up at the sky and look up the clouds. Windy there, and the wind would just blow the clouds, and then I try to blow it away, and I think it's going to take a lot of blowing away. But I mean, the other thing I want to share is that I'm walking out here. I'm walking down the street, and you never know what's going to happen, right? And I don't know that this is such a big thing, but on the ground there was a palm frond. Now it might be a palmetto frond, but it was this palm frond on the sidewalk. Like, what the heck is this palm frond doing on the sidewalk, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to bring the palm frond to the Coltrane house. That's what I'm supposed to bring the palm frond here. And I looked, and I said, and I did for Rose. I did my little love thing. So I have my love thing, and look, this is sort of where we are in the world, right? This is the broken bottle. But I took some glass, and so I made the O. And I found a ginkgo leaf, so that's the ancient thing. So I put that in the O. So we have some eternity things going on there. And then I gathered up a few little dried flowers to go with the love. And then I put the palm frond. I'm going to put the palm frond right in there, right in that O. So it's going to go, hopefully keep it going. So, and I was looking, I was like, well, there's probably something I should know about the palm frond. I mean, I know generally it seems symbolic, but so I'm walking, it's dark, and I'm walking through this area that's totally gentrifying. It's like been redlined. All of this has been redlined, and now it's all this sort of, pop-up incubator, LED, trashy light, kind of dead, but fancy housing and warehouse lofty things, and no soul. This stuff is not going to last like these old houses. And I'm wandering through this part of town. I haven't, it's changes overnight really the last few years, and then I come up and and I'll show you a picture of it later, but there's an alcove in the masonry wall of this one building, and it was this woman. It was this art piece, and I think it was like wheat paste art, but the most amazing wheat paste art I had never ever seen before. White and black paper and sort of covered, and it was this woman coming out of a cocoon and a butterfly, but it was like she had her hands clasped in front of her, and her lungs were like Scherenschnitte, like the paper cutouts, but her lungs were like nature. And it was like the most beautiful thing, especially now when we're sort of supposed to reimagine our bodies as these like toxic, terrible things. Like the butterfly and the woman in her lungs, like in this intricate, lacy plants. And she had her hands clasped in front of her, and she appeared to be like an indigenous elder, really, and beautiful hands, like hands that work, and it reminded me, Cliff, of some of the pictures you showed of the women on the altars that just very magnificent and but kind, And so I just went and I sat underneath her on the step. There's a little step there, and then I looked up the palm, and it said that the palm is a symbol of victory, and but peace, triumph and victory and peace. So a peaceful victory, right? And so sometimes, I put things out in the world. I was asking the other day if I thought AI was in charge of the world yet, and if we're in the game, as Joe said, are we in the game? And some of it we were just sort of thinking, I was like, well, maybe the response to that is like, if it's trained on war and anger and sadness, and like if we had chaotic love, like a chaotic solidarity, maybe that would like gum up the works. If it's trained on hopelessness, like we just put random hope out there somewhere, like maybe this love bomb in the palm is the random hope. So anyway, it feels random, but people are like, well, what is that going to do, random love against the police? And I have to say, I'm not trying to be say anything like dismiss that, because I myself have witnessed that, how that goes. But I do feel like this is a bigger thing about that. There's something else, there's some other field going on. Like, look at this light that keeps coming on behind me. There's some other quantum field out there that we may not be able to, some people may be able to access it better than I am, but I think there's some other place out there, and that music and and love and this heart space, the tapping into that and the nature is gonna pitch a difference in terms of like dispelling the egregore. I think that's what they call it, the egregore. So anyway, I guess that's probably about all I have to say, but I'll share some pictures. I'm gonna show you the love thing again. Like, let's all just think really hard about John Coltrane and North Philadelphia and Black America and liberation and making things right and bringing justice and doing the right thing. And then maybe that redemption, maybe that's the answer. So I think my husband's probably wondering where I am, and it's time for like Chinese food or something. So I'll ring off. But I love you guys. I think, everybody can do these things. Like, listen to your heart. And, it doesn't take massive engagement. I think even small engagements can help it. It won't do it all at once, but just imagine all of us together. So anyway, be well plugged. All right, I'm walking back, but I wanted you guys to sort of see what this area is like. So this is, it's all like gentrified. See all the crazy blue lights. I don't know who's getting towed. They're all redoing these factories and everything. They've got these condos. Here's some sort of gathering space. I don't even know, like the gathering. It's just soulless, all of it. But, with these crazy, I hate the lights. And I'm walking through on my way out. And I was just thinking, oh, this is just awful. Oh, look, mask required for entry. All right, everybody's got a whatever. And, oh, look, there's a poem that goes with it. But this is what I came upon. Isn't she magnificent? I mean, it's just glorious. Like, look at, like, that's what I was supposed to come to see. I don't think it would have looked the same if I came during the day. I don't think it would have been the same during the day. See, there's the butterfly. There's the butterfly. And it's in this alcove. So I was just walking up, and then I was like, oh my gosh, like, who is this woman? Who's this amazing, this vision? And like, you can see, I don't know if you can tell the texture, like it's wheat paste, but it's not painted. It's definitely like three-dimensional. It's got this really nice feel to it. And like her lungs, like you can see, look at the texture of that. Like that's her lungs, and it's like ferns and trees and all organic and blowing out and everything. So, and then there's some of these moths, which I think those are maybe like death head moths or something. So I'm not really sure what that means. And I'm a little worried about that little bird down there, because that bird doesn't look like it's really doing very good. But the woman and her hands, and that's the thing, like her hands. Like I went up like before and I just put our hands together, because that, it's like if I stand, because I'm not super tall, but if I stand on this little step right here, I could just exactly touch her hands, and I think I'm supposed to. I think I'm supposed to do that. So anyway, maybe this will be my new project for the winter, since I didn't really have a good place to come to do something. Now it's like cold and you don't feel like being out a ton, but I could definitely like lay on a picnic table and try to dispel the egregore and come visit this wonderful apparition up here. So anyway, hopefully this is not impact funded art, and that this is just special art for me and other people who appreciate it. But anyway, I'm gonna finish up now. But I'll take a picture of it. But it's just quite something. I mean, it's just. Sorry, I turned it around. It's just, I don't know. There's something about the organic quality of this art that feels just really exciting. So, like, here, maybe I found someone to sort of watch over us, on these days.